Hey everybody, welcome back to the Waifu and the Weeb. It is the man, the myth, the legend himself. It is the Weeb Dante, and today we'll be talking about some manga that I read recently. Romance is a versatile genre, no matter the medium, and one of the lesser used types is that of tragic romance, at least with the manga I've read recently. I've gone through a lot of generic harem rom-coms, countless single couple romance, and even a few interspecies romance manga as of late. And I'm not complaining, because we all know I loves me some love. But there's something bittersweet about a romance story that has a tragic through line. Also, there will be major spoilers as I'll be talking about the entirety of this manga, but I'll indicate where the spoilers start so you can just stop there if you don't want to be spoiled. The Summer You Were There follows Shizuku, a high schooler who has used writing as an escape from the lonely life that she lives. By complete chance, her final story, that she'd brought to school to destroy, was found by Kaori, a popular girl in her class. In true popular girl fashion, Kaori takes the story and tells Shizuku that she'll return it once she's finished reading it. After a sleepless evening, Shizuku meets Kaori alone in their classroom to let her know that she won't be writing anything else. This revelation prompts Kaori to present an outlandish offer to Shizuku. They should date, and Shizuku should write about it. Spending most of her time alone and not really knowing Kaori, Shizuku is understandably confused and reluctant. But popular girl energy is not to be underestimated. Kaori is able to convince Shizuku to pretend to date her over the course of their summer break so that she can use said relationship as inspiration for a love story that Kaori can read. Now you might be asking, why would Kaori go so far just to read a story? Fair question, because as Shizuku herself states, Kaori could just go and read a random romance novel to get her fix. But Kaori isn't having any of that. She's looking to read the love story because it's one that will be written by Shizuku. Her words were that powerful in Kaori's mind. Why? Well, despite the fact that I'm going to spoil a few things, I'll leave that one be. The things I'm spoiling were either revealed relatively early on in the series or would be obvious given the type of story this is. So, once Shizuku agrees to the fake relationship with Kaori, we get to see the usual. Confusion due to new emotions blossoming, home dates, and of course, the almost required aquarium date. Par for the course for the most part, but sprinkled throughout Shizuku and Kaori's interactions, you see the shadows looming over their time together. An uncharacteristic loss of balance, an unexpected weakness in the legs. Things begin to happen that point to everything not being what it seems. Here is where we get into spoiler territory. So if you don't want to be spoiled on what happens once we make it to roughly the halfway mark of the second volume, thanks for listening. Seriously, what I'm about to talk about is what the bulk of the remainder of the story hinges on. And even though it's covered in the first and second volume out of 6, some people might not want to have these things revealed before getting the chance to read it for themselves. So I'll end the non-spoiler section by saying, if you want a heartfelt, tragic look at love on borrowed time, The Summer You Were There is a story I implore you to read. It offers a beautiful look into the psyche of those who know they may not have as much time as others, or those who hate themselves and think they don't deserve to experience the type of life and love everyone else does. You'll laugh, pull out your hair in frustration, and you'll cry. But hopefully, at the end of it all, you'll smile. I know I did. Alright, now that we've gotten the spoiler out of the way, if you're still listening or you're still reading this online, then I'll touch on some of the spoilery points of the story. Again, this is your last chance to avoid spoilers. Think I've warned you enough? Let's get into some spoilers. Kaori pieced together Shizuku's true intentions when she read the story that Shizuku was trying to dispose of. It was essentially a suicide note, and once it was destroyed, Shizuku planned on killing herself. So Kaori urges her to write another story, a love story centered on their relationship. That way, at least she wouldn't kill herself as long as they were together. But I might be putting the cart before the horse. See, Shizuku bullied Ruri, one of her classmates in middle school. Initially, she told herself that she was just being honest, saying the things that no one else was brave enough to say. But she ended up traumatizing Ruri and was ostracized the rest of the time in middle school. Even after making it to high school, things didn't really change for her. The guilt she felt for hurting Ruri was so heavy that she felt that she no longer deserved to live. What right did she have when Ruri had to live with the scars of her torment? So she tried to live a solitary life to ensure she didn't hurt anyone else. Kaori knew about the bullying and saw through Shizuku's pain. She didn't believe Shizuku deserved to die, and not just because she enjoyed her writing and wanted to read more of it. She knew that Shizuku didn't intend to hurt Ruri the way she did, and the remorse she carried all that time proved it. So Kaori made it her mission to help Shizuku see herself the way Kaori did. She suggested she apologize to Ruri in the form of a letter, since she has an easier time communicating that way. This leads to an emotional reunion that Shizuku wouldn't ever have dreamed of coming to pass had she remained on her own. Confronting the girl she used to unwittingly bully results in Kaori collapsing, the cause of which turns Shizuku's entire world on its head. Now she learns what the reader has already pieced together. Kaori is ill. Kaori spent her entire life battling her sickness, determined not to let it be the only thing about her life people remembered. Then she met Shizuku, and her world seemed so much brighter. Yes, she was still sick, but she was able to fight back because they'd met. It's one of the more beautiful reveals we get later in the story, and kind of helps to soften the blow you get from learning about how sick Kaori really is. After learning the truth of Kaori's diagnosis and what that entails, Shizuku promises to continue the love story and bring her the chapters personally every day. During this time, you see both Shizuku and Kaori slowly come to terms with the time they have left and what that means for their relationship. It's heartbreaking because the writing is on the wall, and there's nothing that can erase it. No matter how much you pray or wish that things will magically be made all better, the stark reality of the situation is that Kaori has seen the best of the best, and they haven't been able to rid her of her disease. So instead of allowing that to deflate her and rob her of all agency, she is determined to leave her mark on those she loves. That resilience, that determination, is what makes Kaori such an engaging character. It's what makes her fight one you can't help but want to see to the very end. It's also why her eventual death hits so hard. You know it's coming, and you know it'll wreck everyone she knows. She knows and even tried to break things off to help Shizuku cope with the eventual loss easier. She, of course, doesn't accept the breakup and follows through on her plan to write and finish the story that Kaori wanted to read. The journey to the last page of their love story is a hard one, not only for Kaori, but also for Shizuku. Can she finish the story before Kaori's time is up? Can she stay true to the story she wants to write for her? Does she put Kaori's sickness into the story, or leave it out, keeping the Kaori on those pages completely healthy? She goes with the latter, and the love story meets its end on their terms, not the terms set by her sickness. And man, I might be tearing up again. The Summer You Were There is a poignant love story that still manages to have a lightness to it. And although we knew how this would most likely end from the onset, the journey to that ending is one for the books. It shows that love can make even the bleakest of times into something completely different. Something beautiful. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay weird and read manga.